Hi, I'm Christina Ward, Christina and Company, Keller Williams Realty Boise, and I'm coming to you from my home in Boise, Idaho, talking about our local real estate market and actually this discussion is going to be even more of a national economy. I don't have many stats globally, and all the way down to Boise, Idaho and surrounding cities and what's going on here so that I can give you some hyper-local information, but also some national information so you can kind of decide what you're going to do about moving potentially in 2021 or not moving. I'm here for you no matter what. So I just got done with a international conference with Keller Williams Realty, speaking with Gary Keller, who is the creator of Keller Williams, the largest real estate brokerage in the world. And he had some insight on our national market. So we are in a health crisis that created an economic crisis. There's nothing more that they have an entire research department. They're not seeing anything more that's causing our economic crisis besides the pandemic. They do believe that we're borrowing, obviously they don't believe we are borrowing at a low interest rate. So even though we're pumping a lot of money back into the economy from our last presidency and this current presidency, they feel like it's not going to cause as much inflation as we have seen in the past because of a low interest rate. So that's really good. We are seeing a K-shaped economy. So the last recession, Great Recession, we saw the financial industry suffer terribly and homeowners suffer terribly, and it trickled into a lot of people. This time, unfortunately, it's young people, it's restaurant owners, it's small business owners, it's people that go belly to belly with their clients that haven't quite figured out a more digital platform to do business. Travel and leisure are really suffering. It's just a totally different group that is struggling this year. And people like me in real estate are having some of their best years of their life. We're seeing our retirees or our more established older clientele that are moving up, taking huge advantage of the low interest rates and ability to sell their first home or second home and pull that equity out and put it into their dream home. People buying homes with pools, people buying homes with additional offices, some people downsizing too and realizing in the last year, like, what's the point of all this stuff? Like, I just want less and I want to travel in my RV more. So we're seeing a lot of shifting happening. We're also seeing shifts going out to more rural communities. Even in Boise, Idaho, we've seen a big drive for our out-of-town folks to want to live in Nampa and Caldwell and even further out and have property or have multiple generations. Also, what Gary has seen from his research is that after there's usually a shift outwards, there's a shift inwards. So we might see some opportunities for development of condos, of zero lot line properties. As people go back to work, there's some really cool studies that are showing that people will go back to the office. We're not going to all stay remote forever. We might have some differences in the way that companies run offices or choices for their employees, but they're really seeing that employees that want to move up in an organization are going to demand to be in the office so they can be seen that they're productive and they're moving up. So talent is going to want to go back to the office. We're finding ways in these times to find a more physical relationships that are digitally enhanced. So it's actually been really cool to learn through the last year and learn how we can serve our clients and do better physically sometimes when we're safe, and also just like this on Zoom. So the national average for inventory last year was 3.1 months of inventory. And our Ada County, Boise, Idaho surrounding was 0.2 months inventory. So we have 6 days of inventory, and the national average is 3.1 months of inventory. What both those numbers mean is if no new homes came in the market today, no houses for sale in 6 days in Boise, and no houses for sale in 3 months in the nation. That's a seller's market in both cases. It's just a super seller's market in our area and then a regular seller's market in some of the other areas in the country. We're living in extremes right now, right? Like we've got low interest rates over here and this crazy like pent up demand of real estate. And then over here we have, businesses suffering and we can see it based on GDP. So our GDP last year went up as fast as it ever has gone in the history of tracking GDP, where we saw in the spring of last year where people held tight to their money and they didn't spend. And then we started to see a little bit of recovery and release there, but based on the entire year, we are still at negative 3.5 GDP, which is just slightly better than the Great Recession. So unemployment's at over 8 in the country. GDP is at negative 3.5. Appreciation in the nation was at 9%, and our Ada County appreciation was at 18%. Normal for GDP is 2. What we want to see with unemployment is under 6, and what we want to see with appreciation is 4. So there's just some stuff that's like, gosh, we appreciated a ton, but people aren't spending and businesses are suffering. Another really interesting number is only 1% of sales are distressed right now. And that's awesome. So distressed is like short sale, foreclosure, people that cannot make their mortgage anymore and are selling in distress. So 1% is great. In the last recession, we got up to 50% here locally. What number we're not really seeing yet is that there's 5 months of inventory of people that are in forbearance. What forbearance means is they negotiated a deal with their lender so they don't have to make their payment. Some people will be negotiating a deal to add on to those missed payments to the end of their loan. So they'll probably hold on to their house. But some people that don't have a job may just decide, I need to sell. I have tons of equity in my house. Let's take my money and run and rent for a while, that haven't been employed. I've talked to a lot of people that haven't had a job for an entire year. We will see more inventory when those people start to get into that situation where they have to make that choice. And when I say will, that is a strong prediction from me. We will see in the future. I'll let you know when we start to see more inventory. Also, another thing that could cause inventory to shift is interest rates. And some people feel very strongly we're going to see an increase in interest rates this year. But these guys that were speaking about the economy with their economists and their research team believe that we're not going to see what we saw in the 80s as far as interest rates, that people are just not accustomed to that, and that banks are still doing well. The economy is actually still doing well with a low interest rate. So maybe we'll stay low-ish, but it's at 2.75% for most people. Like, that's just unheard of, and we may never see this again. I would love to hear what you think of all this. This is just some of the information I got from Gary and Jay and their research team yesterday at our conference. And now I'm going to show you what we've got going on in our neck of the woods. So in Ada County, we see the last 12 months rolling market. This is for January, Ada County resale. This is everything but new construction. So last year, this time there was 374 homes for sale. Now there's 114 for sale. We do have a decrease in buyers. So you see buyers under contract last January, 524. Buyers under contract now, 409. That could be due to the low inventory, or it could be the start of a shift. We won't know more for a few months where we see more data that's consistent. This could just be a weird month, right? We did see this very strange last spring, right? If we're going to recap of last year. Last spring, we had the listing count go up like normal, but buyers kind of disappeared. It actually didn't turn into a buyer's market. It just turned into a much softer seller's market. And then what happened is something we may never see in our lifetime again. We squeezed all those real estate transactions into the summer of last year. If you talk to a realtor, they were really tired last summer. They all worked very, very hard. As far as I know, all my friends and myself and my team worked very hard last summer. We started to see a decrease in listings, which is not normal because we saw such an increase in pent-up demand from those buyers. It even went into a great fall in wintertime with that really low inventory, pent-up demand, multiple offers we're seeing. Our average price in Ada County is $433,000. So there's that 0.2 months inventory I talked about. 114 houses for sale, 409 under contract, 8,400 sold in the last year. So, I pulled the wrong one. Darn, new construction in Ada County. That would be weird. Let's just pull this up. I'll show you guys how I find my stuff. I'm sorry, I'm not prepared. That's a bummer. So Ada County, we have a statistician that puts all of this together for us. So if you ever want any of your areas, like say you live in Southeast Boise, I have market stats just for Southeast Boise, just for you. So new construction, Ada County, this is what we want. So this is what's really interesting is a lot of our buyers couldn't find houses that were resale to buy, so they went to build. More than half of our my team's pending transactions are new builds right now, where we're waiting for the builder to finish. So last year, this time we had 798 listings. Now we have 200 new construction listings in Ada County. And then big increase, there's 1,262 under contract. Last year, 883. The average price for new construction right now in Ada County is $456. and the inventory is 0.6 months inventory. So less than a month of inventory for new construction. A lot of times the builders aren't even building specs. They're just getting a buyer under contract and saying, this is what we're going to build you. And then you wait the 6 to 12 months for the builder to build. What is interesting when I hear about from people that are smarter than me, when I hear about the economy and why our inventory is so low, one reason is that our builders in the Great Recession got out of the industry, and our trades got out of the industry because they suffered so bad during that time, and they never came back. So we lost a lot of inventory because builders were not building, and we're still recovering from that. We're almost back to builders back to building what they should be to keep up, but we've lost all of those years of inventory. So that's kind of why we feel a little bit behind. We should have shifted downwards by now. And between the pandemic, low interest rates, and the lost inventory, those are probably some of the reasons why we didn't shift down. So Canyon County, 71 houses for sale, 203 under contract. The average price is 3,027. It went down a little bit. That could have just been a few less lower priced, or a few more lower priced houses, a few less higher priced houses selling. I don't see that we're in a dipping market in Canyon County. That we did go from 338 last year to 302 for our average of the month, but we're much lower in inventory, only 71 for sale versus 387 the last year. And our inventory level is also 0.2. It does get up to that buyer's market when you go over 1 million in Canyon County. So new construction is so important. So glad those builders are building. The average price is $341 for new construction in Canyon County, 82 houses for sale, 644 buyers under contract, 0.5 months inventory, a half a month of inventory. Crazy times. Again, I know you can tell that I'm passionate about these numbers. I love reporting them to you guys every month. So please follow my YouTube channel. And also I post these on Facebook. I go live every Monday at 9:30 Mountain Standard Time. Love to have you come on and ask questions, whether you're an agent or you're a buyer, seller, consumer of real estate, or homeowner. Always love having you guys there. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.